Michelson, and Rule Colombo.
Christmas evening, as my wife and I were wrapping presents to put under the tree. How many Sidney Taylor Award thank you speeches start like that? I got an email from Kathy Pinchuk asking me to give her a call. 35 years earlier, I experienced my first Christmas Eve at the childhood home of a Methodist named Jennifer, who I'd recently started dating. Her parents welcomed me warmly, if warily, more concerned about my waist-length locks and tie-dyed t-shirt than my religion. For me, the offspring of atheist parents who grew up celebrating neither Christmas nor Hanukkah, I was surprised at my own discomfort around that tree. I felt the first stirrings of wanting to proclaim my heritage. But in the interest of Judeo-Christian relations and a hockey hate, I held my tongue and celebrated tolerance. 2 years later, I received an equally warm welcome from Jennifer's grandparents when we told them we had decided to marry. Farmers from a small town on the Canadian border, they had literally never met a Jew before. I felt like Woody Allen and Annie Hall. So first, I would like to thank my wife, who against my wishes decided to convert to Judaism. It was during her very unorthodox, and I use that word in its non-religious sense, conversion, that I became interested in my own heritage. Jennifer was in a conversion class of 2. The other student was the brilliant African-American writer and political Black Power advocate Julius Lester. Obviously, he didn't think he had enough problems. Julius later served as the cantor for both our children's bar and bat mitzvahs. And if you've never heard him sing, you are truly missing a religious experience. Last Christmas evening, when Kathy emailed me, my daughter and son had just arrived from their homes in New York City, so that my wife's widowed mother could join us to celebrate her favorite holiday with her family. I am still very uncomfortable around Christmas trees, and doubly so in my own home. But King and Heschel taught tolerance and understanding, and who was I to deny my wife's mother her favorite holiday? So the house was in a bit of an uproar, and I was preoccupied and didn't even think about the Sidney Taylor Award moniker under Kathy's email signature until I checked my emails again before going to bed. I didn't sleep all night. So I would sincerely like to thank each of the judges by name: Susan, Debbie, Kathy with an E, Kathy with a Y, Barbara, Rachel, Rita, and Heidi. I have judged awards in the past, and I have read many of your finalists and recommended books. In the end, I realize it is mostly a matter of a flip of the coin and my particular good luck this time.
No. Oh, no. No.
I'd also like to thank my editor, Michelle Fry, for taking a chance on this book. Editors don't generally get rich or move up the corporate ladder by signing up another Michelson book. So thank you, Michelle. While I was writing my book, I read many other picture books to research how other writers handled narratives based on real-life episodes. Among the books that I picked up was A Band of Angels, and I fell in love with the illustrator's work. But strangely, I had never heard his name pronounced out loud. 2 years later, after my editor bought and edited the manuscript, she called me and said she was thinking about asking an artist named Cologne. I didn't put it together with the book I had read earlier, because when she said Cologne, I heard it as C-O-L-O-G-N-E, a name I was unfamiliar with. So I asked her if she could please hold off making that offer, and would she look at a book called A Band of Angels and check out that artist and see if she would consider him. I would like Raul to illustrate every book I write for the rest of my life. He brought this story to life, and I thank you. I spoke about Martin Luther King and Abraham Joshua Heschel this morning. So here I will only say that I thank them for their vision, and I thank all of you who put the books in children's hands. Barack Obama said, "The moment we persuade a child, any child, to cross that threshold into a library, we've changed their lives forever and for the better." We all have a responsibility to instill in our children a love of reading so that we can give them a chance to fulfill their dreams. I love Jewish librarians, and I salute you all and thank you.
And I wanted to mention that thanks to Richard, I could come up with these illustrations that he loves so much because the story was told very well, it was written very well. I usually turn down manuscripts that I don't feel show anything in my head. A manuscript is successful for me as an illustrator when I start reading it and right away there's a movie going on in my head. I see some pictures going right through. I say, yeah, I could draw it this way, I could put it this way. I see Martin Luther King sitting on a sidewalk, kind of dejected and angry because he can't go and swim in a pool that's only for white people only. That was one of the pictures that came into my head when I read the story. And that's how it starts working in my head when I read a manuscript. And right away I knew, yeah, I think this is something I have to illustrate, besides the fact that I know about Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement since I grew up in the 60s. And secondly, I didn't know who Heschel was really. I had heard the name civil rights, and now I was learning something new, which is another thing that is great for the illustrator when we do picture books. We always learn something new, get new information that enlightens us and takes us to another level when we start thinking about it and putting concepts together and putting illustrations together. So I think that when I do this work, I get as much from it as much as I get back. And for that I thank Richard for his writing, my editor, his editor also, and my designer, Melissa Nelson, who helped with the design of the book. And of course, like I said, all of you have been here today. Thank you.